Hi everyone, Big Thinny Sweat Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of this new series of EPs from Bad Bad Not Good, Mid-Spiral, Chaos, Order, Growth. Yep, this is the latest material from Canadian Grammy Award-winning jazz fusion outfit Bad Bad Not Good, who have been at it for well over a decade at this point, and it's been cool to see them grow through their music over the years. How they've changed since the days where they were dropping these raw revisions, jazz takes on instrumentals on popular and classic hip-hop albums from Nas and MF Doom, Odd Future as well, even tracks from James Blake and the Zelda soundtrack. They have since recorded their own fair share of original jazz compositions and jams, done backing for the likes of Ghostface Killah, lent their talents to game-changing records such as Kendrick Lamar's Damn. Oh, look, it's right there! And who can forget the recent viral moment the band had based off of a pitched remix of their track Time Moves Slowly featuring Sam Herring of Future Islands fame, which, yes, caught like wildfire on TikTok. The band has been super active lately as well, continuing to grow and push jazz boundaries on their recent Talk Memory record back in 2021. They also dropped a great new EP with singer Baby Rose that is kind of a very classy, well-written soul throwback. And they've been on kind of an EP kick, you could say, as they also dropped a handful of tracks on this Mid-Spiral Chaos record back in May, and they have since followed that up with a few other Mid-Spiral offerings, Order and Growth. So yeah, it's a suite of projects, a trio that are 5 to 6 tracks each, and these records see Bad Bad Not Good in a relatively interesting place. You could say the band is sounding more skilled and mature and steady than they ever have before. The youthful and explosive punk energy of their early records has pretty much been swapped out with a slick professionalism, something I think is majorly enhanced by the production on these projects too, which I don't know the full story behind how these records were recorded, but it sounds like what Bad Bad Not Good were going for was this live, straight-to-tape type performance vibe that sounds like something out of a high-end 70s studio, and they absolutely nailed that energy too, with a decent variety of styles and influences across this EP as well, from jazz funk to jazz rock to samba jazz, a bit of psych jazz too. Though I will note, there's not a super vast difference in vibe across each of these releases, which can be good or bad. It certainly makes it likely that if you enjoy one, you're going to like the other two. At the end of the day, there's more that binds them than separates them, which is significant because as far as my own personal taste goes in regards to jazz fusion, I would have preferred something with maybe a bit more sparky, dynamic band chemistry going on, as opposed to the chill and often laid-back direction that a lot of these tracks go in. There's a lot of grooving on these records, that's for sure, but not necessarily a lot of intense jamming. Still, there are plenty of captivating moments to be had, mostly brought on by colorful production choices or interesting instrumental features. First off, I love these spacey sliding melodies all over the track Take Me With You. Sounds like it could be a synth or a theremin. Either way, it's otherworldly. There's also the sour and off-kilter intro on the song Weird and Wonderful, which does try to embody its title. It certainly succeeds at that in the first leg. But as it progresses, it could have been a bit weirder, especially considering there are some pockets of the track that feel a little porno funk with its sensual grooves and wah guitars and constant chime runs. There are vaguely exotic and summery rhythms all over the intro track, Eyes on Me, which ends in a showy display of sparkling lead melodies with a lot of the other instrumentation just being soaked in trippy effects. And the big showy horn harmonies on Your Soul and Mine are a major highlight too, which is a rich, refined, classy piece of soundtrack funk that needs to get synced for a Netflix series ASAP. And while I'm focusing on the first EP here, the moments that felt like the weakest to me were the ones that were were led by guitar, as the title track of the EP kind of feels like we're bringing some jazz fusion into some Pink Floyd-esque chord changes and a kind of wailing and grating solo on the back end. Meanwhile, Last Laugh is passable, I guess you could say. It's just some mild instrumental rock where the drums are really the only thing worth paying super close attention to. It's one of at least several tracks throughout all of these EPs that just feels like it could use something else, some more solos or another piece of instrumentation or even a vocal. So from here, with these EPs sharing a lot of performance and production overlap, of course they have a lot of the same pros and cons. Cause like with Chaos, I think the jams on Order could have most definitely gone harder. Though I will say the record does start strong with the track Playgroup, which in terms of upholding some stricter jazz standards and just more band interplay, some more interesting solo work, this is more like it. The track contains one of the bigger group performances on all of the EPs as well, and really dishes it out for 7 minutes. The rest of Order, though, kind of dabbles in a lot of tropical and Latin pastiche, with a lot of spicy grooves and hand drums and even flute. Some weird piss take with the vocals going on about taco, taco, burrito, burrito.
Okay, sir, that's 2 tacos and 2 burritos. Would you like that order spicy or mild?
Cancel that order. The vibes on these tracks, for the most part, are fine. It's cool the band has reached a level of versatility where they can pull this sort of thing off. But for music in this lane, I don't think what the band is doing is all that terribly gripping or bold. I mean, aesthetically it's nice, but in terms of execution, it mostly feels like tourist montage music, with Rewind Your Mind maybe being the only other track on the thing that is actually pretty evocative, due to its spacey production and explorative sax and keys. Growth is the shortest of the 3 EPs, and while it is passable, I don't think it adds that much to the songs we've heard thus far. There are a few cuts that just feel like straight up soul instrumentals that maybe would have been better suited for that Baby Rose EP. The stellar chord changes and bass work on First Love, as well as the horn sections on Audacia, do have the whole thing starting off pretty strong though. But then the entire series tops off in a pretty breezy fashion with White Light, which is really the most idyllic, dreamy, and sleepy cut of the whole bunch. But yeah, overall I just kind of feel like these EPs are okay, with the first one being the strongest, second one the weakest, and while there are certainly highlights on each one, I just don't see myself going back to any one of them in full anytime soon, especially considering I think Bad Bad Not Good has released music with more fiery performances in the past, and I feel like that's where, again, a lot of my preferences lie and what my ears are really drawn toward, even if I can acknowledge that as far as like production quality goes, I feel like that they've really topped themselves on these EPs. That and steady grooves and very chill instrumentation, that's where the magic of these projects lie. I should also note, in an aside here, all these projects have been rolled up into kind of one big album compiling all the tracks in them. But personally, I'll sit here and just kind of hope for something a little bit more for the heads, or just a bit more fiery and daring the next time around. Overall, I'm feeling a light 6 on these projects. Transition, have you given these EPs a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video you can check out. Hit that upper link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Bad Bad Not Good, forever.